Welcome to Mrs. Peach Thrifty Living. I'm so happy you're here today. Today is hashtag Thursday BookTube. This is hosted by our wonderful friends Patty at Life with Patty and Daphne over at My Mountain Home and Kitchen. This collab has been a fun one. It has a lot of people that has joined in this collaboration. All you have to do is post what you're reading, a book, talk about a bookshelf, whatever you need, whatever you'd like to do, and we love to come and watch and see what you post. Today, I don't have a book, although I'm in the middle of a book. Well, nearer the front of the book than further back, but it's getting more and more interesting, and I'm finding myself drawn to it even more so. It's one Patty gave me. This is my AARP magazine, and I get them once a month. Actually, I get a magazine too, and they do have some very interesting articles in it. And as I was flipping through here, you can find a lot of help in here for people our age. And I don't know about all their policies. I've heard some of them's not so good, but this one really caught my attention, and I'm going to just kind of mention it a little bit. I don't know the copyrights of all of this, so I won't be reading it to you or anything, but this was, they talk about pain-free for life. And by the way, all of us as crafters, and maybe me not as much as some of my friends, they can take all these little pictures and use them in their journals. There's some cute ones. The writer of this is Dr. Sanjay Gupta. I recognize that name because I have a doctor that is Dr. Gupta. They're talking about different ways that our body is pain-free. You know, a lot of people take medicine for their pain, and I know people that has a pain pump in them to keep from having pain. They go to all extremes to take care of their pain, and they're talking about different ones that we have a toolbox to manage our pain in that we have, that we don't have to take something for. I know this is common knowledge a lot of places. A lot of people use opioids, and I've known some people that has gotten hooked on that and had a hard time getting off of it. But our body has natural ones that we can use. They're called endorphins. You guys can go online and get this magazine if you'd like and read up on this if you like. But I just wanted to mention some of those because with what we can do for our own bodies, it can help. And some of the tools, they talked about the endorphins for us getting out, like I've always mentioned, us doing our exercise, walking. Today at Tops, we talked about different ones, things that made us happy, and some of them was saying going for a walk and different things. Whatever, but we need to keep our bodies active some way. Some people go to the gym. Some people, I get on my recumbent bike. I'm sure I could do more, but that does help me a lot, and it keeps our bodies moving. And they also talk about in our toolbox that we can also have the healing is, and this one I haven't heard before, is called MEAT. It stands for something. Remember they used to say RICE, R-I-C-E, is rest, ice, compression, and elevation. Well, another one they're talking about is MEAT, which stands for movement, mild movement, and exercise. There's a second one, that's mild movement, and then E is for exercise. A is for analgesic. Okay, and that's, but we need to be careful on taking too much painkillers of any kind. There's topical ones that we can take, and then treatment is the next one, which might include therapy and massage, acupuncture, all kinds of things like that. And then they talk about another one is keeping the temperature therapy. You know, we've long understood a lot of times that heat or ice can help a lot of different situations. And then there's talking about supplements. CoQ10. These are some of them, and they go into it. So I won't be going into each one of these, but magnesium, turmeric. I need to start taking my turmeric that I have in there, and willow bark. Now, I have not tried willow bark. Has anybody tried that? Okay, and then they talk about non-opioid analgesic. I probably didn't say that right then. Medications, okay. And then they talk about a pain-fighting diet. Okay, what do we know on this one part? If you get most of your proteins from plants, such as beans, whole grains, and nuts, your level of chronic inflammation, the kind that can trigger chronic pain and damage your body on an array of level, will be lower. Okay, I was kind of thinking that. So that is a good thing. I could eat more beans. Some days I eat more. Okay, here's another one. Eat more fiber. A form of carbohydrates, fiber may lower your chronic inflammation. Women, they say, should have 21 grams daily, and men over 50 should have 30 grams. Okay, of course we know, and we've always heard it for so long, eat your fruits and vegetables, and it's no change here. And how about this one? Use more anti-inflammatory herbs and spices. What kind is that? Let's see. Let's see what they say. Paprika. I don't eat too much of that. Do you? Rosemary, ginger, turmeric, sage, and cumin. An earlier study found that cloves and ginger, Jamaican allspice, sage, marjoram, and tarragon are also a great choice. So there's a lot of choices you could have to go there and avoid trans fats. I really need to, and I'm guilty right now because I just had a piece of pizza. And I thought this was left over from my little great-grandson's birthday, and I brought one slice of cheese pizza home. I warmed it up. I went out and put a green onion on it from my front yard, cut it up, put some, a little bit of tomatoes, green olives, and mushrooms that I had in the freezer that I cooked up a little bit. Well, I'm sure that helped a little, but the pizza probably no. All those things like frozen pizzas, and oh, I'm guilty of all of it, you guys. Try to be better. Can I be? I hope we are. Limited saturated fats, okay? And that is so many things in our diets that we could limit on that. And then balance the omega-6 and omega-3. We need both of them. And eat monounsaturated fats. One of the monounsaturated fats is olive oil, and is known to reduce inflammation, blood pressure, bad cholesterol. Wow. Okay, and enjoy some dark chocolate. Now, I'm sure they don't mean a bunch, but some. Okay. Talking about acetaminophen, or Tylenol, as we used to say. It works in the brain. That increases the body's pain threshold, tells what it's better for. But all of these, we need to not get hooked on them, if I can say it like that. There are some non-opioid prescriptions. And I remember my husband at one point took this one, gabapentin. He never knew for sure whether that was helping him or not. I just want to encourage you, if you'd like to, you can go and find this. You could probably look up this doctor. He's written a book. It doesn't have to hurt. It doesn't have to hurt. There's also, they talk about psychological approaches, and they talk about cannabis, and I do know some people that do use that. Acupuncture, yoga, meditation, prayer to me. I mean, I don't know if they even mention that. But I've seen the Lord heal people before. And if that's not all, there's a lot more articles in here. This one is, what is this one? Ask Dr. Adams. So you can find all kinds. Wait, let's look at this. Is coffee good or bad for you? Okay. It seems every week we get different advice. I'm going to leave that one with you. You can think about that one. And I know this is going to be too long if I don't cut it off right now. I hope you enjoyed that little Thursday booktube. And check it out. Go check and see the girls and see what they're posting. And follow that hashtag. And if you would, come back and check my channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share, and I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And don't forget, Jesus loves you.